it doesn't matter that I am consistent for others. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll come through for other people. Come through for other people, right? Selfless when it comes to other people. Break my back for other people. But when it comes to myself, I wonder where that Perry went. Alright, y'all, so hopefully the volume in this video comes out amazing, because if not, I'm going to be heartbroken because I'm dropping a lot of gems in this video. I say that because I'm using a new mic, and I set the volume of the mic a little bit lower because it's usually pretty loud. So I'm like, let me set it a little lower, and I'm going to hope that it's still loud enough for you guys to hear me and not too loud for it to clip. Because it's really close to me. I don't know if y'all could see it because I'm wearing a navy shirt, but you know, it's here. You guys should be able to see it. And that's a whole nother video to talk about the mic. But this video that I'm coming to you guys with today is something that's definitely been on my mind. It's something I've definitely been struggling with for probably months now. I'm gonna be honest. I've been struggling with it for months, and it just has reached a boiling point at this point, to be honest with you. I'm not going to speak on the person. I'm not really going to speak on necessarily what happened between me and the person, but it's more so about me as a person, and it's more so about the pattern here that I want to talk to you guys about, because I want you guys to get something from this, and I hope that it can help you in your own personal life, to see the pattern that you may be repeating over and over and over again. I'm a person who's relatively easy to get along with, and people describe me as, you know, nurturing, loving, very selfless, very, some people say I'm outgoing, some people say I'm something in between. But the point that I'm trying to make, and I say all that to say that usually I'm a very upbeat person. I'm usually happy. I'm usually either at a calm or I'm either very happy, because my peace is everything to me. For those of you who are healers yourself, for those of you who are readers yourself, you know how important it is to have your peace. You know how important it is to have your calm, to have your serenity. It's everything to us because it's something that we try to teach other people to have within themselves. So, you know, we also strive to have it with ourselves, but you know, the way that life works, it doesn't always happen that way. It's usually the person who is the rock for everyone else who somehow kind of slips through. I don't want to say slips through the cracks, but we usually have get the short end of the stick and usually struggle a lot with things. And being that we're usually put together, we don't know how to come out to our friends and say, I need your help. I need a shoulder. You know, even though we're usually that shoulder and it should be easy for us to ask for the same thing in return, it's not that we don't have people in our lives that can do it for us. It's more so, for me, it was more so a pride thing. It was more so pride, and it was also not really pride, but really, I was really ashamed, honestly. More than anything, I was ashamed because out of my friend group, I know that my friends, most of them would not judge me. You know what I'm saying? I know that they wouldn't just come out and be like, what's wrong with you? You know, or anything like that. They would definitely nurture me and care for me the same way that I care for them. But I just have this trait where, or this habit of constantly covering things and focusing on what the other person has going on rather than what I have going on. The reason that this video is titled What Your Relationship History Says About You is I'm about to get into my relationship history with you guys, and I'm going to tell you guys what it says about me to give you guys an understanding of why it's important to identify and recognize your relationship patterns in order for you to not repeat them, or just in order for you to know yourself better as well. Because you may not have bad patterns, but I highly doubt that, there's someone out there who is perfect. You know what I mean? So I just want to bring this to the forefront because I think it's something important to talk about. Soon the world is going to open again. We're all on quarantine. We're all struggling with this as well. But I still want to get this video out because I want you guys to really think about this and work on yourselves internally and externally and in all ways. This video is definitely not at all easy to make because I'm getting into some things that are extremely personal and hit close to home. But I'm going to talk about it anyway because I feel like if you haven't gone through it yet, hopefully you can learn from this. If you have, hopefully it can open your eyes to see what's really going on. With that being said, let's get into this video. So, I don't know, for those of you who have been on my channel before, I'm sure that you saw the video that I put up in October. This was October, I put the video up, and it was a venting session. That was something at that time, I was kind of trying to figure out what I was going to do with my channel. I was trying to figure out, how I would get back into recording again and consistently recording at that. And that was a time when I was ready to really be consistent with my channel. And another thing that you'll notice, whether you're new or whether you're old, is that I'm not consistent on my YouTube channel at all. I'm not consistent. I'm very inconsistent on my YouTube channel. I post here and there. You don't know if you're getting a post from me ever again when I post because it may pop up months later. It may pop up a year later. So I'm not consistent. And that's not at all something that I want. Obviously, I want to be consistent. I want to get videos out. And oftentimes, I actually do record videos and I don't sit down and edit them and put them out because I get distracted. Two things I just said there. I'm inconsistent with my videos, right? And why I don't put them out, I get distracted. Or I don't record them, I get distracted. So that's already letting you know that there's an organization issue there. And then so let's just keep that in mind while y'all watching this video. Just keep that in mind. I'm going to tell y'all the story of this whole situation. But keep in mind, inconsistency and distraction. Keep those two things in mind. I don't know, I caught a lisp lately. I don't know what's going on with me, but I don't know if it's because I'm gaining weight. Because whenever I gain weight, my cheeks get bigger and then I just can't barely speak. I don't know. But anyways, so distractions, inconsistency and distractions. Okay, we got it. Cool. So back to the venting video. So when I posted that video at that time, I would say I was relatively happy during that time. I would say that for the most part, I was doing well. I was doing well at work. I was, very involved in my friendships, very involved with everyone. I was on top of my readings. And that was around the time that I started to take my my readings a little more serious. Don't know if they're coming to YouTube, but I'm just saying, I started to take them a little more serious because I realized that I had a gift. And that I needed to utilize that gift to help others. So that's really what pushed me to take my readings a little more serious, invest in, some oracle decks and things like that to kind of help with getting my message across. And I was doing really great. I was doing the things that I liked. I was about to get back into my sewing. If you know me personally, you know that I love to sew. And I was getting back into that so that maybe one day I could do some tutorials for YouTube. But I during that time I had picked up a distraction and I did not realize that at all. I didn't realize that, and I'm going to call I'm a, I want to give it another name because we're using inconsistency and distraction as words or whatever. So I'll give this distraction, this person, and I met this person before that video, obviously, but I'm gonna call this person. I'll call this person Prince Charming, right? We'll call that person Prince Charming. Why not, right? Because Prince Charmings, they come in copies. All right, so we'll call them Prince Charming, right? That's what we're going with. I met Prince Charming a few months before October. I began to, personally, I chose to take Prince Charming serious around the end, like in the, no, I remember the day. I began to take Prince Charming serious September something, I guess, something like that. We weren't a thing. We were not together, but I decided, out of people that I've met and people that I've spoken to, I have a spark with Prince Charming and I have chemistry with Prince Charming, and I think that this person makes me pretty happy. We laugh together, we have good conversations, and even though we're complete opposites, and hear me out when I say that, complete opposites, because Prince Charming is more wild and free, and I'm more, I don't know, I wouldn't say boring, but I guess you can say boring. I'm a pretty simple person. I have my moments, obviously. If I'm at a party, I can do, what I got to do. But if I had to choose, let's go to this crazy party or let's stay home and like do face mask. Yeah, I'm gonna do face mask. And I'm a fun party person. Like when I'm at a party, I'm fun. But that doesn't mean that that's not my scene all the time. That's not my thing. So, and all of my friends, know that about me, that I'd rather not. So, with that being said, that's a little off topic. So anyways, so I started to take Prince Charming serious around that time, and I said, you know what, I'm going to focus on Prince Charming because this is what we do. I don't want to single out men. I don't want to say like, oh, men don't do this, but I'm saying as women, we usually are the ones who sit there and say, okay, I talked to this and that person, not really feeling it. And at some point in time, when we're not serious with the person, not committed to anybody, we make a decision out of however many people we're speaking to, which person we want to give like a full chance. And I chose Prince Charming as the person that I wanted to give a full chance and the person that I wanted to focus on and give a chance to fully get to know him, because I know that if you're talking to like three different people at the same time, you're splitting yourself three different ways. You understand what I'm saying? And it's you're not wrong if you're not in a relationship to speak to three different people, but what you're doing is you're not giving anybody a chance to really know you, and you're not giving yourself a chance to know them, because if you're speaking to three different people, you got to split your time three different ways, not including the other things that you have to do as an individual. So I said, I'm not doing that. I'm going to give Prince Charming the chance because this is the person that I feel the highest connection with, and this is the person that makes me smile. This is the person that makes me laugh, whatever the case may be. So I went ahead and I did that, right? Now, a little forward into it. Let's just fast forward to October. I believe it was October 4th, when things sort of kind of went downhill. So let me tell you. So before October 1st, I before October 4th, a little while before that, I met Prince Charming's friend, right? Me and this particular friend of Prince Charming's became very close because we just clicked. We, I always said it was because of our zodiac signs. I always said that that is what made us click with each other because Prince Charming's friend had the same zodiac sign as my best friend. And so I always thought that that was the reason why we click so easily. And you know, it's just a zodiac sign that I'm compatible with. But I'm not gonna disclose that because I don't want to give anybody who does not know about our relationship any type of hints or clues. So, because I still want to keep things very private. Because this video is not in any way to bash Prince Charming. This video is more for me and for other women and men out there who need to recognize the patterns in their relationships. So let me finish. And need to be able to tackle and target the problem in their relationships, and essentially with themselves. So I met Prince Charming's friend. We clicked, like I said before, and eventually in time we became closer. And Prince Charming's friend, you know, made their own judgment of me and said, you know, I think that you would be a good fit for my friend. I feel like, you know, being that you're a very respectable female, you respect yourself, you have goals, you're someone who is very kind, very caring, you're very patient, so you'll be patient with him and understand that in his flaws and things like that, and which are all true to me. Me and Prince Charming's friend got close to a point where I guess at some point he felt comfortable enough to tell me certain things about Prince Charming. Now this is when the venting video came up. So the venting video came up when I was told about Prince Charming inviting someone who I knew had a thing for him somewhere. So I don't know that he was aware that this person liked him, but I was aware that this person liked him because this person actually told me directly that she liked him. So this person, not knowing about our relationship, told me that she liked him. And so, but he and her were on a friendship level and he invited her somewhere. And so the venting video came about because my whole point was I just wanted to vent. And it was also like I felt hurt because I just felt like you and I are building a relationship. We're building something. And you decide to take the time to go somewhere behind my back, because this was in secret, to go and do this behind my back. And with my knowledge of knowing that the person liked you, I'm thinking, well, maybe you do know that the person liked you, and maybe this was all like a plan for y'all to like deal with each other. And I wasn't having that because Prince Charming and I was at a certain point in October to where it was just like, you don't have no business doing something with somebody else or anything like that. So I definitely just felt some type of way about everything and that I was being told. But Prince Charming's friend also let me know that, you know, Prince Charming did not pay any type of mind to this person at the time when they went where they went. So I said, okay, I'm going to sweep this one under the rug. I'm going to keep this one to myself. You know, technically we aren't in a relationship yet, so it's not a big deal. But I just took note of it in a way. And let's remember, the 2 points that I had made before: inconsistency and what was it? Distractions. So now moving on in time, I think maybe a week later, Prince Charming and I were supposed to go do something. I'm going to say this as I'm going to just backtrack real quick back to the venting video. As an intuitive woman, as somebody who is I'm very in touch with my intuition. And my intuition is almost never wrong. Honestly, I don't want to sound perfect, like, because I'm not. But as far as my intuition goes, there's never been a time that I've thought something, no matter how extreme it was, and it wasn't true. There are times that I've thought these things and thought to myself, like, oh my God, I hope it's not true. But it was eating at me in a way that is familiar to me. And I know when that's my intuition talking to me and telling me this is something that's going on. And so when I made that Vincent video, you know, me even putting that video out, I put that video out so quick because I don't know, it was just something that came over me. And when I made that video, I was just like, a part of me just knew that like everything was about to go downhill. But there was that other side that was like, no, let's give the benefit of the doubt. Let's try to make it work. Let's see where this goes. You know, let's give it a chance. Let's not put our guard up. But a part of me was just like, yeah, no, this is not going to work out, because I started to really internalize and really think about everything. And I'm just like, why would you invite this person but not invite me? Why would you have this person go with you but not ever say to me, hey, come with me? And then on top of that, hide it from me and give off this facade that you're this person who's usually home and, you know, you don't really do anything. And you're like, it was almost like this person I was dealing with was kind of trying to feed me the image that he thought would best fit me, if that makes sense. He wasn't being true to who he was and telling me who he was. He was more so trying to give me this image of this innocent, like, person who had just pure good intentions, never really did much, like, didn't have much to them. But in reality, this is somebody that had a lot of different sides that like I didn't know. And I just felt like it was like, I didn't know in the beginning it was being hidden to me, but in time, as I tried to get to know this person, I realized like, oh, this person is like hiding themselves from me, especially with the friend telling me certain things. I was just like, wow, like I didn't never think that you would do these things that I'm being told. Like, my image of you, my perception of you, like, versus what really is, are two totally different things. So anyway, fast forward, there were a couple of occasions we were supposed to do things. In the beginning, it was always him like, oh, let's do this. Oh, I'll see you on this day. Oh, let's do that. But when it came time, this person did not come through on different, not always, but like there were times when the person would just be like, give me this bullshit excuse like, oh, I couldn't do it because I had to like get my younger cousin, or some type of like lame sorry excuse. That was a lie, because like I said, I know when somebody's lying to me. But I just continue to just be like, you know what, maybe it is true. Maybe I'm just doing too much. Like, maybe I'm just thinking too much. But it happened so often to the point where there was one day we were supposed to do something. And I remember this day vividly because at this time I had a therapy session. And you know, this therapy session was for trauma. And I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys this. I'm not gonna get too far in detail what the trauma was from, but I will tell you guys that it was I was having therapy for some trauma that I experienced in my childhood in my life. So I had come from my therapy, and I didn't tell my therapist everything, because for me, being that I'm a healer myself, we're usually very opposed to the idea of someone else doing it for us. Because I just feel like I know enough. I don't need somebody to do that for me. It's just, it's like having a therapist go to a therapist, or like having a doctor go to a doctor. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just have this thing where I could do this myself. Like, this is my thing. This is my profession. But, but we need those services as well, even if it is our profession. So anyways, so this was after therapy. I was actually speaking to my therapist kind of about the situation. I was telling him, there's this guy, I like him a lot, but he is not always keeping his word with me. And he's let me down a couple of times. And we're supposed to see each other today, but I don't know. Like, I was supposed to see him directly after that. And we agreed. We set up that time. We set up that location. And when I texted him and he was supposed to come, he didn't come. He did not show up. And so I say all that to say, and I'm going to just shorten this all out, because I'm not going to go into every single time that I was let down, because it's still an open wound, because I just recently ended that relationship. So it's still something that still hurts me for a level of reasons, but I'm just going to say it like this. I'm going to use that time and leave it at that, because that's probably the least hurt that came, because that was in the beginning, and that was at a time where it was just like, okay, I'm just seeing who you are. So he let me down, but it was kind of like, it became a roller coaster. So it would be times that he would let me down, and then it would be times that I would be on like, we would have really good, like, days, or like he would keep his word, and like it would be like a good time, a good day, and I felt like it was like us moving in the right direction. But it was nonetheless a roller coaster. And when you're dealing with that, where you and the person are on this ride and things are going like this versus going up, you have to ask yourself, and this is where I went wrong. I ignored that part of myself that knows better. That was like, why, if a person is sure, then a person is sure. So questions started to come up in my mind when we got deeper into the relationship. Questions started to come up in my mind that shouldn't be questions at all. Because, and like I said in my venting video, if you watch the video, you can watch it if you want. It's kind of hard to watch because I'm speaking very slow in the video, and it's just me venting. So it's hard to watch people vent anyway, because it's not necessarily something that is entertainment for anyone, or it doesn't usually help people. Some people it helps, some people it don't. But something I said in the video was, I hope I'm not learning a lesson that I always teach. That's something that I said in that video that stuck with me, because I was like, what I had in mind at that time in October was, I hope I'm not about to go through the process of dealing with someone that I need to let go. I'm always the friend. I'm always the person who's telling someone about the red flags. I've gone through things that have blindsided me in my life, right? And there were times that things happened to me that I did not see coming whatsoever. So in those times, I could sit up there and say, okay, this wasn't my fault. This is something that was done to me. But at a point in your life, the older that you get, the more experiences that you have to be real with yourself, and you have to say to yourself, am I going through these cycles because people are just doing this to me? Or am I walking myself into them and allowing them to happen? So like I said earlier in the video, I'm inconsistent with my YouTube videos. That's one example of something I'm inconsistent with in my life. right? Another inconsistency I have, I can give you an example, is so I'm a person who writes in my journal, right? I have a bunch of different journals because that's one thing I collect is journals. Um, I have one journal that I write in every single day, consistently, right? Or every other day. I write that, but that's the journal that I gravitate toward. It's my favorite, right? But then I have a bunch of other journals that I've bought. And out of guilt because I'm buying them, knowing that I have too many already, I'm like, okay, I'll start writing in it at least. And I'll keep to writing in it. And I'll give them these titles and give them these purposes. But I'll write in them once and I won't write in them again. That's another inconsistency, right? Planners. I don't own a planner because when I had a planner, I was inconsistent with it. Inconsistent with it because there were days that I was just like, I don't feel like doing this. And so I say all that to say, and I'm going to get into what happened with this relationship anyway. I say all of that to say, when you're inconsistent with yourself, how could you expect another human being to be consistent for you? It doesn't matter that I am consistent for others. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll come through for other people. Come through for other people, right? Selfless when it comes to other people. Break my back for other people. But when it comes to myself, for example, I remember when I was in high school, there was someone who, like, I've always had like a little attendance problem, like as far as this started when it started around a time that I experienced a tragedy. Before then I was pretty good with like attendance and punctuality, but I experienced a tragedy, and then from then I just was like not on time, late all the time, things like that, right? And so, but it became a habit, it became a part of me, you know? So, but I had this friend, and this friend also had trouble with attendance and being on time. Now, me being a great friend, I was able to identify why the person was late, write the person a plan on how to not be late, what they need to do. They need to wake up at this time, they need to do this, they need to do that. We were in a program together. And in this program, because of my, how do I say, because of my loyalty to helping this person fix their lateness, their punctuality, in return, I became on time for that program because I would wake up extra early to wake that person up. That person, so whenever I'm dealing with the responsibility for another individual, or if I tell a person I'm going to do something, I always come through. It doesn't matter what it is that I tell you I'm going to do. I always come through. It doesn't matter that I'm a reliable human being for others because I'm not reliable for myself. You understand? I don't come through for myself. When I have somewhere to be for me, I'm not on time, right? When it's helping someone else be on time or it's someone else's event, I'm on time. If even at work, if I'm taking someone else's shift, I make it my business to be on time for theirs. But when it's for me, I don't put in that same effort. And I've learned through this situation, through this breakup, and taking this time out to reflect on myself, I realized, oh my God, like this is deeper than a relationship. This is even deeper than the trauma. I have these traits. I have these habits that I am constantly repeating. And of course, I'm going to attract an inconsistent man because I'm not consistent for myself. Do you understand? I'm not consistent for myself. Of course, I'm going to attract a man who's going to let me down all the time. I let myself down. You understand? So even, for example, I'll use my sewing as an example. When I did my prom dress, every time I tell the story of my prom dress, people miss a point in that story. I tell people all the time, I never made a dress before then, right? which is, which makes it amazing that I did it. I've never, I accomplished many things with making that dress. But something that you fail to listen to when I tell that story is that I I went, before I even started the dress, before I had the fabric, I remember going to my friends and everyone I knew and saying, I'm going to make my prom dress. And from the moment that those words came out of my mouth, I had to make that dress because it's about keeping my word to others. Keep this in mind, keeping my word to others. If I wouldn't have told anybody that I was making that dress and I would have just told myself I'm going to do it, it wouldn't have got done. Especially with the trials that I went through with it. The night before my prom, the dress was in shambles. I had to start all over. I tell people that part too. But what you don't know, what pushed me, is the fact that I was like, I'm going to prom with my best friend in the whole world, and I can't let her down. Do you understand? I can't not show we're going together, and I can't not keep my word. So I have to come through with this. It was never about me. It was about keeping my word. And so I'm just thinking about all of this, and I'm just getting into all of this, and I'm just realizing all of this. But what this says about me is that if I'm inconsistent with myself, if I'm in a distraction, I'm gonna get into distractions, but if I'm inconsistent with myself and I let myself down, how can I expect to attract? I'm not saying that this makes the person right for doing me the way that they did, but what I'm saying is I know why I attracted this kind of person. I completely understand now why I attracted this kind of person, why this kind of person made their way into my life, because I was not being what I needed to be for myself. So without that, subconsciously, that person could feel, sense, and I believe in energy, that vulnerability in me. Do you understand? They didn't know that they were sensing this. This wasn't an intent, but this was just what happened. This person is at a time in their life where they're not at a level where they can consider, you know, my feelings, or they don't have those qualities of consideration. What else? Reliability, honesty, loyalty. These are not things that that person has. And I'm not saying that to bash the person. I'm saying that to say they haven't experienced certain things to force them to become that way. I already had my lesson from God that taught me about loyalty, because I used to leave everybody. I used to run, and you may notice that trait in me even now. I mean, he might have noticed that trait in me in the beginning of us talking, because I was ready to go. But then I fought against that, because I experienced things in my life that taught me you cannot just, when you get to a marriage, you can't just say, oh, well, this didn't go right today. Fuck this. I'm out. That's not how it works. So it's the same thing. And I try to implement that in relationships, but that's a whole nother topic. The whole point I'm trying to make is that person is not at a point in their life, they haven't experienced certain things that will teach them why it's important to consider someone else's feelings, why it's important to be reliable, why it's important to be honest. Certain things they haven't experienced in order to teach them that. I've experienced those things. What I didn't experience, though, what I didn't realize, that what you are is what you attract. And I always would just sit there. I didn't really truly reflect. I didn't take enough time to reflect. But I always would sit there and think to myself, why is this happening to me? I would pray. I would, I would just meditate. I would think. I would ask, why is this happening to me? I would try to think back to all the things I'd done to the person. I just think, well, I've always kept my word with them. I've always shown them that I love them, even when it was hard for me, because I had my own set of like emotional detachments. And I've always made an effort to make them feel like, I care about them. And if you call, I'll answer. If you text, I'll respond, unless I'm busy doing something that is important. I've always kind of tried to consider this person in basic terms. I mean, I've always considered them. So why are they treating me like this? And I had to get myself out of that why. And I had to get myself into looking in the mirror and recognizing, okay, no, you're not a terrible woman. No, looks are not everything. So even whether you're the most beautiful person to them or not, that's not going to keep them. You know what I'm saying? Looks is not, a thing either. Let's look a little deeper. It's not about looks. It's not about any of that. It's about character. Yes, I'm a good person. Yes, I strive to be kind to everyone, even my enemies. But is that enough? No, it's not enough. It's not enough to just be kind, but to not really look in the mirror and really work on yourself. I noticed that through all my relationships, I've taken time in between relationships to reflect, but I never reflected deep as I did with this one. And for that, I'm grateful to God, because for a long time I was upset because I was like, well, me and this person, we were good, even though this person did this, and that to me. But that revealed something in me, and it revealed that, once again, I'm not consistent with myself, and I'm not reliable to myself. I'm not. I have this ability to feel for others, to be there for others. And it's a beautiful thing to be selfless, it is. But at times you have to be selfish. You have to be. Because if you're not, and if you don't care enough about yourself, and caring about yourself is not only about taking care of your skin, taking care of your hair, taking care of your, your body and the way that you look. It's also taking care of you and saying, I can't do this today for you. I got to do this for me. You're not treating me the way I want to be treated. So how you'll feel about me leaving is not more important than how I feel while I'm staying here. And that is what made me leave the person. I realized that that person just may not be my life partner. That person just may not be the person for me. Yes, me and that person have had good times and laughs, but we also had bad, and the bad was really bad. And that person has caused me to feel, a way that I don't enjoy feeling. I don't enjoy being the kind of person who, if you call me, I'm there. But knowing, not thinking, but knowing that no matter what situation I'm in, if I call you, you won't come. And this is the person I'm supposed to call my partner. This is the person I'm supposed to call someone I'm in love with. But I know that they won't have my back the way I'll have theirs. That's not a good feeling. That's not something that I want. That's not something that I deserve. It's not. But what I also don't deserve is putting myself through these situations and staying during these situations. And that's my fault. My fault is staying. My fault is being more concerned with how that person will feel than how I feel. My fault is putting a person before myself. And I always thought, it's nothing wrong with putting someone first, as long as you still love yourself, you still take care of yourself, you still get up every day, you love how you look, you love how you feel. But truth be told, Yeah, I still take care of my skin. Yeah, I still take care of my hair. Yeah, I still clean my nails and I take care of my body. Yeah. But loving yourself is not only that, it's also taking care of your emotional health, taking care of your mental, not allowing someone to gaslight you and talk you into thinking that you're going insane about things that you know are true. I feel like I betrayed myself during this relationship that I had with this person. I feel like I betrayed myself because I stayed with this person even when I knew that I deserved better treatment than how this person was treating me. I stayed by this person even when this person stabbed me in my back. Even when this person said things that hurt me to the core. And I feel like it also hurt a little deeper because I feel like I was experiencing deja vu a little bit. And I had to ask myself, like, hold on, like, this is not the first time that I've let myself down. This is not the first time that I was with someone and put their flaws aside. There's a difference between flaws, not flaws, there's a difference between character and I want to say mannerisms. Like something that's like a flaw could be a person brushing their teeth in the shower, a person, I don't know, doing something that kind of irritates you. Like, I don't want to say this is just gross, but like digging their nose or not holding a door for you, something like that is like a mannerism. That's something that you can communicate to them, like, I don't like this, and they can fix that. But something that you can't fix, like with a person, is communication skills, the ability to show affection, consideration, kindness, respect. I just feel like you cannot teach a woman or a man how to respect you. Do you understand? Yes, you can treat yourself a certain way so that they know how to treat you. But if a person has no respect, they're not going to have no respect. You can't beg them to have respect. You cannot beg someone to consider your feelings. You cannot beg someone to compromise for you. You cannot beg someone to see your worth. Sometimes you have to know when to say, this is a red flag, or you have to know when to say, this is not it. This person does not belong to me. This is not my life partner. And you have to get up and you have to walk away. You can't make excuses for that. Point blank, period. And I feel like I spent too much time painting over the person's true colors. The colors were coming out, and I spent a whole bunch of energy and time trying to paint over that and say, no, this is not it. Like, I was seeing, I was seeing purple, and I was just like, no, I'm painting red over it. This is not that. Red is my favorite color. That's why I use red. No, let's say gold. I'm painting gold over it. I don't want to see that. Right? But the truth of the matter is, that's who the person was. And that's something that I had to accept. I didn't want to accept it, but it was something that I needed to accept. I needed to accept it so that I could move on with my life. I feel like You know, this taught me, at first I was ashamed, I was embarrassed by this, and I probably wouldn't have made a video on this. But I just feel like it just, it taught me that yes, I have those qualities that are good, but to myself, I have this one quality that is kind of like eating at me, and it distracts. Let's get into distractions. It causes me to allow distractions to come in and to blind me, or I don't want to use, I mean, distract me from what I need to do. I have goals, and I feel like a lot of them got paused. I have hobbies that I love doing. I didn't do many of them. I wasn't on top of like my YouTube posts because I was experiencing a roller coaster of emotions. And when you're experiencing a roller coaster of emotions, you don't want to sit in front of a camera and talk about nothing. Me personally, I don't. I'm not one of those people who are going to get in front of a camera and start crying. I'm not doing that. I don't, that's not something I'm ready to do. I don't even like crying in front of people I know. Like, I don't cry for attention. It's not a thing here. So it's like, I definitely just was like, I'm not doing the videos because on some days I didn't feel well, and the days I felt good, I just wanted to live in those good feelings. I didn't want it to be consumed by, oh, I'm trying to get this and that done in that time. Also, what else I wanted to touch on? I wanted to touch on the fact that something else I wasn't doing was reading. I stopped reading, and I was very strict with myself on that. I didn't want to, but I had to be very strict with myself. This was in around the time that we were started being on quarantine, March, I would say. I had to take a pause from reading, no reading, because I felt like my emotions were at such a high, and I was so unbalanced emotionally because of this relationship and how it was making me feel. Yet it was a feeling of, I don't want to like throw this person away and just give up on them because they might be going through something. But then it was also like, they're tearing me to pieces. Like, slowly, I'm not an extrovert, but I'm an ambivert. And I lean more toward my extroverted side. At my job, I literally come up to strangers every day and speak to them like I've known them my whole life. So that's a way to understand me. And this situation was causing me to become introverted. Why it was causing me to become introverted? Because I began to feel like small. You know what I'm saying? The person, whether they know it or not, they were, how they was treating me was causing me unnecessary insecurities. I'm a person who, yes, there was a time in my life that I had insecurities, but I'm a person who, anybody that described me will say that I'm confident, very confident. That is like probably the top 3 of something that a person would use to describe me, or top 5. I became, it was like I was like shrinking into my shell because I was feeling like I keep repeating myself and telling this person that they're hurting me, but they don't care. I just often felt like, and as time went on, things got worse. It went from just disappointing me by not coming somewhere to something that I'm not even going to say here. But it was a humiliating thing. And it escalated because, why? Let's go back to the point of this video. All of this happened and escalated, and it was able to happen because I stayed dealing with this person. And I shouldn't have. So in essence, you need to know when to walk away. This video might be titled Know When to Walk Away, because you need to know when to walk away.